Hey, welcome to Lost in Translation. Today we're going to be talking about paraphrases. This is the last of three types of Bible translations, and paraphrases are a little different than the previous two types of translations that we discussed earlier. A paraphrase is not really a translation from an original language. It basically takes the scriptures as we know it, like you can take an NIV or an ESV or whatever, and the paraphrase is basically saying what the scripture is talking about. Now, if you were to paraphrase someone's statement to you, you would know that you may get that right and you may not get that right. If someone were to paraphrase what you would say and they did it incorrectly, you would be very quickly to say, no, that's not quite what I meant. You can do this in a good way. They can paraphrase you well, and they can also not paraphrase you well. With that knowledge, I would not use a paraphrase for a devotional time or a serious Bible study, or to use it to prepare to teach or to preach. I kind of compare a paraphrase to vitamins. When we take vitamins, they're called supplements for a reason. They supplement what we should be getting in our normal diet. You don't want to take vitamins only. You want to eat food, good, healthy, clean food, and use vitamins as a supplement to what you're eating. And I think paraphrases can be thought of in a similar way. You can read a paraphrase, but it shouldn't be your main course when you're taking in Bible reading or Bible study. You need to stick with a word for word or a thought for thought and use a paraphrase to kind of supplement, to make things a little clearer or to get a different perspective on what someone thinks the particular Bible passage you're studying is trying to say. Again, let's look at our chart. You can see the New International Reader's Version falls into this category. The Good News Translation, also known as the Good News Bible, that was popular back in the 70s. The Contemporary English Version, the Living Bible, and probably the most popular paraphrase of all, the Message. Again, we need to use paraphrases as supplements, not as the core of our Bible reading. So if you have any of these translations, I do. I have the Message. I have other versions of the scriptures that we would call a paraphrase, but I don't use them for serious Bible study. When I'm working through trying to prepare a lesson or trying to prepare a sermon or even doing devotional reading, I don't use a paraphrase. I use it to kind of gain a little bit of a different understanding or a perspective, but it's not the bulk of what I'm reading. What I want to communicate is not all versions of the Bible are created equal, and not all versions of the Bible are communicating in the same way. They're not just updated ways of looking at the original language translations. They have different intentions, they have different emphasis, and they have different purposes. Okay, so what I want us to do with that thought, let's jump into our conclusion. And this has been Paraphrase, Lost in Translation with Pastor Steve, and we'll see you again in the conclusion.